Well, that was a long bathroom break. Feels like I haven't uploaded in a while. What's it been, like 3 days? Oh. So recently I played Destiny 2, The Final Shape. The Final Shape is Destiny 2's not only last DLC, but also the community's last straw. This DLC was meant to wrap up Destiny's story, but ironically, it could have also wrapped up Bungie's story too. Not only did they fumble the Lightfall DLC, but also managed to entice the wrath of the entire Destiny community several times after. Bungie was looking a lot like this crab, because they're both in hot water. Okay, so, to give a little context before I reminisce on my adventure. Edgy Pixar villain has beef with a giant floating albino Malteser because the cosmic cake pop gives life. And this galactic smoking hazard doesn't like it, so he stalks the space ball, looking for an opportunity to throw hands. At the end of the previous DLC that we no longer mention by name, Scary Jerry installed a fancy new door on the monotone disco ball, and then proceeded to let himself inside. You know, I feel like the world would be a much more peaceful place if everyone came inside their enemies. What, just me? Anyways, we're on the same page now? Good. Because we still have the entire final chapter of this sci-fi extravaganza to go through. The story begins with a bunch of cutscenes recapping the events of the past, but I already gave you the rundown, so leave your tips in the jar, please. The story really begins with the ghost and myself flying inside the Traveler and realizing that I indeed should have purchased insurance when I had the chance. Why does everything look like how 5-gum tastes? I do a little parkour and see one of the chestnuts from that raid, which means mechanics? What? In a story mission? No, couldn't be. It was at this moment that my trousers had tightened, like the best class in the game. Shot the guy, stole his ball, busted the nut, and then away I go. There's also a new enemy type? I couldn't believe it. Bungie? Creating something fresh? New? And exciting? I hate it. These guys throw strand snares that yank you forward. Like, bruh, let me be as I is. More shooting and jumping and oh my god, more mechanics. Stop it. Bungie, you're making this DLC seem worth the price. I know it's just shooting some burnt macaroni to make the barrier go bye-bye, but this is the most engaging Destiny story's gameplay has ever been. Alright, you know the drill. Shoot the guy, grab his ball, shoot the macaroni, get the nut buff, do parkour easy. Eventually, I encounter enemies with pink health bars that take no damage, and my ghost informs me that we're in the wrong neighborhood and he's scared.
Guardian, I don't think we can win this fight.
I then heroically flee the scene because if they can't die, why try? Time for round 3 of ball snatching. By the way, whoever decided that these taken vandals should be able to have their own personal Titan bubble should have a nice meal with their family every now and then because it's good for the soul. Also, fuck you. Shoot, ball, macaroni, chestnut, jump, but now we get a chest. Some more jumping and I get sucked into the class selection area of Lost Ark. I make my way into a cave and watch as the path changes and reforms itself right in front of me, like Tyler 1.
I'm a beacon of hope.
That's a big ass ghost. Bruh, I'm about to ascend. Another new enemy type? These guys are so lame. They scream, which silences you for a few seconds. And that's about it. Yep. But they got bat wings, so they cool. In fact, they remind me of my favorite superhero, Spider-Man. Now Bungo's switching it up. There's a lock on the door, so I gotta find the enemy with the key, give him a stern talking to, then grab the key and open the lock. Honestly, I'd rather have this than waiting precisely 3 waves of enemies for this doofus to hack open a door. I walk up and embrace the power of the light and the dark, and proceed to get violent with the locals, just the way Martin Luther King wanted. Now there's a flag, which could be looked at in 2 ways. 1, I've made it halfway through this long ass mission, or 2, I'm about to get my cheeks clapped. Now there's 2 locks on the door, so take out the Taken, grab the booster from Luther, make the wizard disappear, run it back on the opposite side for the second key. Why is this dude always eyeballing? Somehow, I traversed all the way into the old tower, and we're getting violent again. Okay, what the who are you? Put me down, 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 put me down. First try. Didn't even phase me. Hey, funny robot man is back. You know, Bungalow removed the DLC where you fucking died. Okay, so I'm gonna speed things up from here because I'm lazy. Have fun. Cade the Slade is back, and is that a ghost bird? Now we're in a new area looking for Crow after he left his ghost alone to go play detective solo. Now it's time to shoot some bad guys. Why yes, I am using the Malfeasance as a warlock with not so lucky pants. Thank you very much. Looks like I was tormenting the tormentor. Peak warlock gameplay, am I right boys? The ghost bird leads me to these beams of darkness representing locks that need to be locked not. Using my biggest brainness, I noticed that the locks are set up like a clock where you gotta turn the hand to match the node with the darkness. Making a Scion Psy off will give me one stack of the buff needed to move the hand exactly one node. So I count the nodes, kill the Scions, copy and paste with the other two. Bada bing, bada boom, we're in the room. Or so I thought. Now that the light show is over, I walk over and have a showdown with the Pillar of Despair. After cleaning up some taken blights and doing a little shooty bang bang, I then claim my title as Killer of the Pillar. Oh look, another rally flag. You already know I'm about to get cooked. Why yes, I am using the bad juju, thanks for noticing. I once again say see you later to the Subjugator. Open a fancy chest and move through a creepy forest that doubles as a semi-disturbing art museum, while the darkness whispers sweet nothings in my ear. Then I find Crow and the mission is over. Robot Man's back from the dead. Crow is back from the art museum. Now all we need is Miss Monotone and the Blue Man to complete the Pokédex. Turns out, Ikora is supposedly nearby. I open a door leading to a room where I get jumped by easily the worst of Bungie's latest enemy lineup. Who was the loving, caring, kind-hearted individual who signed off on this monstrosity? The husks are like if you took B-Sharp from Pokemon and gave him a cracked out version of martyrdom. Martyrdom? Martyrdom?
Martyrdom.
Hey, that's what I said. A cracked out version of
Martyrdom.
From MW3, where their final moments are using their own soul to commit a personal terrorist attack specifically meant for you. After getting my ass jumped by alien ninjas, I open up another door and get greeted with another puzzle to turn on my neurons and then get on my nerves. The room's got a relic, 2 knights, 2 light bags, and 2 dark bags. Knowing this information, I proceed to do exactly what you think. Fail. Life is a spectrum, folks. And I'm on it. Somewhere. After inspecting Ikora's ship, I found out she ain't there. So I find myself in another boss room with relics and moats and another dude who keeps eyeballing me. Several attempts later, I give the ogre the touch of death and move on to the next area where I again meet the local resistance, only to remember I'm a warlock and that life really is sometimes just peaches and cream. I also torture another tormentor because I am an asshole. Turns out Ikora was like 30 feet away from the whole fight, just standing on this mountain trying to figure out the traveler's Wi-Fi password. Mission ends and we get to see Ikora and Cade hug it out.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
I don't mean to be that guy, but you're telling me there's a dude with faces and the smoke coming out of his head, setting up camp in the giant floating light bulb you worship, and you have the time to show emotional affection and rebuild healthier relationships? This is why Japan has futuristic toilets and we have influencer drama. Now, to hunt for the heroic story. The mission starts and I'm already on ad clear. Just like most raids. I just want to be useful. With all the ads now subtracted, I shoot the flying macaroni and even more fallen begin to walk in. With a shank. Kill the shank, look at the symbols, and I'm back to the statue to step on the symbol that I got from killing the shank, that I spawned from killing the macaroni, that got unshielded when I killed all the fallen in the area. Yes, I did that, and then I did it again, but in another area. This time, with a subjugator. Okay, subjugator down, symbols hit, and now I show you true pain. There's always one mission or part of a game that is absolutely horrible to play. The experience immediately goes from having fun to what have I done? For Destiny, playing the game in general is the bad part. But whoever designed this particular encounter needs to Mission Impossible his ass through a room full of lasers, and if he snags even one singular fiber of his being on a beam of heat, then he'll get vigorously thrusted in his ass by Radon from Elden Ring until his ring has been Eldened. In game though, this was honestly the most painful encounter that I played throughout the entire story. Even the final mission wasn't this bad. Let me break it down for you, okay? First, you gotta clear the bats from the cave. Then, you gotta pick going either left or right and kill the Shank and its disco ball harem. Then, hope to the architects above that these stupid trip mines and slow traps don't spawn directly on top of you. Otherwise, you die and restart the entire encounter from the very beginning. Did I mention enemies spawn in that are simply there just to make it even more difficult to shoot the already difficult to shoot trip mines that have been strategically placed in such a way to make them as tedious as possible to shoot? All because someone at Bingo was like, game design. After clearing one side, you gotta clear the other side to avoid muscular imbalance. Then even more trip mines spawn, along with a whole ass Tormentor. Honestly, Tormentors aren't even the worst enemy to deal with. Just excruciatingly tanky for no good reason. Why do I gotta sit here and unload into this dude for 10 minutes straight just for me to finish this section? Hey look, it's Zavala's house. And there's a flag here, which means I was gonna need to grab the lotion again, but before I did, I took a selfie with the boy. Several waves of enemies and one giant Gundam later, and Zavala joins my party. Then there's a cutscene of Zavala talking to his dead wife, and now there's more hugging. Ew! The beginning of the next mission is literally climbing up a damn mountain, so I'm just gonna skip past it. Although, there is a cool boss fight that involves symbols again, and then I make it to the impasse where I get to test out the new super from the trailer, which for Warlocks is just Sunsinger from Destiny 1 without the self-revive. Next! Lost Sectors. Yep. Luckily, there's only 3, but this just put an unnecessary quirk on a story that was flowing so well right out the bottle. Yeah, I'm skipping this part too. At the end of the quest, there's a cutscene where Cade finds himself in an Old Spice commercial, and then the mission ends.
Older blocker body wash is too powerful to let this commercial in! Explosion!
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. And there's a strike following the Lost Sectors. But I did, however, get a nice selfie with this statue though. Back to the regular scheduled programming, which starts directly where the strike ended, which is kinda cool. We're now on the hunt for Zavala again. Why? Because he decided to listen to the sweet nothings the darkness whispered in his ear. So, I kill some ads, let Zavala's ghost, Targe, have a heart-to-heart with his statue and continue on. Oh look, a flag. They just keep eyeballing me. I clear the ads, use Prismatic to clear more ads, boss spawns, I die because in my heart, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Then, change my ways and do it all over again from the ogres. But this time I succeed and make Targe speak to another statue. Rinse and repeat in the next room, and the room after that room, and the room after that room, after that room. Finally, I make it to an area where I gotta doink 3 wizards in 3 different rooms. One's got thralls, one's got knights, the other's got shriekers. Wipe them all out, and the big bad is back again to let me unload in him, taking my shots straight to the chest. Big guy goes bye-bye, and then I jump into the mysterious looking hole to claim some more loot. I then find myself running through a good old Destiny parkour section, cause we all love those, am I right? This leads me straight into a boss room, nothing I haven't seen before. Slap the guys on the left, get frisky with the dudes on the other, and then grab the relic in the middle of the room and poke a hole in the boss's plastic wrap to do DPS. Repeating this process a few times, I managed to give the boss his loss and book my ass out of the room. I kept getting weird stares. Get it? Stares. Like and subscribe. The mission ends with Zavala losing hope after Targe apparently went poof in the middle of all the chaos. Honestly, I wasn't paying attention. How the hell could I? Destiny isn't exactly a game that demands my attention. But it does suck away my money. We're finally here. The last mission. The mission begins and I warlock my way through the enemies, and yes, I am using warlock as a verb because they be doing it all. Anyways, long room, lot of ads, lot of shoot, kill wizards, kill tormentor, grab the loot. Before we continue, I gotta let you know I fell off way too many times, and look at how ridiculously spongy this scoundrel is. Why are they so tanky? It's like this dude is hopped up on a whole tub of gamer subs. Which brings me to today's sponsor. Nothing. Like and subscribe so I could get big enough to sell out. I make my way through some beautifully delirious art design, and then shoot a walnut to fight back against the poison. I then walk through the caverns while the voices try to seduce me, even though I paid for that a few years ago. Okay, mushroom. Clear the edge, bust the nut, get in the hole. Something seems wrong about the order here, but I'm telling you, this is how I met your mom. Play hide and seek with the teleporting knight, bust some more nuts alone in the corner. Remember the symbols, go back to the main room, step on the symbol, let loose on the caboose, GG, easy money. Some more creepy art displays, and now it's back to throwing hands. Alright, big room with a plastic wrapped ogre. Taking blights that need to be popped and chestnuts that need to be shooted. I grab the pride buff, slap the blights, then go to the middle where I shoot the macaroni to get the bufferoni, to get inside and shoot the jabroneroni like he had money he owes me. Remember the symbols he shows me, step on the symbols, then rain fire on his big-eyed homie. Then I rinse and repeat until boss is defeat.
For all your power, you destroy to receive glittering rewards.
Did I just get called out for wanting loot? Honestly, that boss fight wasn't that bad. Some light mechanics and hide and seek? To whoever made this parkour section, you deserve a raise. I just think it's cool. Some more cryptic art exhibits later, and now it seems I ain't the only one that's about to throw hands this time. This is it. The big final fight against the Pixar prick. I entered the Coliseum and became so wrought with fear about the fight ahead that I took a nice ass selfie to be remembered by. Soon the fight begins, but it's okay because I'm a warlock. Okay, to shed some light on the fight, there's a subjugator in the middle I gotta damage, but I gotta be careful because of the PNG witness floating around shooting shards at me. When the subjugator's health gets to around half, I then gotta go shoot the chestnut to grab the buff so I can enter the room and get the relic. Then I gotta stand on the crack to shield myself from the witness's tantrum and go back to emptying mags on the subjugator. Once he who had once been risen has now been felled. I could grab a sword, swipe right on the darkness crux, and listen to 5 minutes of dialogue before committing an act of necessary vandalism. Phase 2 is the same dish with a little spice. Now I gotta keep refreshing the darkness buff so I don't get defeated by air pollution. I ain't gonna lie, the first time I did this, I got my cheeks clapped like I was given applause. Bungie's earned themselves a reputation for being a little fucking stupid, but sometimes they whip shit like this out the scrotum and you forget that one DLC we no longer mention by name exists. I ain't saying this is the best boss fight ever, but this was a solid challenge with some light mechanics that Bungo eased players into beforehand. When the fight was finally over, I walked towards the exit in my safety bubble, but then a cutscene played showing the vanguard escaping the witness. Just when you think it's over, huh? The actual final fight is this 12-man mission where everyone spams still hunt at the witness till he dies. And then Cade dies, because hey, let's just kill everyone's favorite character again. Pretty anticlimactic if you ask me. Now it's done. So how was it? Overall, the campaign was a mixed bag. In-game writing was never Bungo's strongest asset, and it shows here. I'm gonna give a little summary of what happens in the campaign, just hear me out, okay? The bad guy did something to the traveler, and it's rendered useless. The villain can end everything right then and there, but doesn't for reasons of which I do not know. Everyone lost their minds because our ball is being tortured, and then they send the Guardian to solve the problem. The Vanguard got split up doing their own thing. Cade has his own subplot going on, Ikora didn't get paid enough to be a real character, and Zavala had a depressive episode and began to lose faith in the Traveler, believing all is doomed. The Vanguard regrouped, along with another ally, and the Guardian took the fight to the main villain. Now tell me, which campaign did I describe? I'm gonna give you two options. Either it's the final shape, or it's the Red War campaign. You might sit there and argue that this is how every campaign was written, but to that I say, nay. Shadowkeep was different. A disappointment, but a different disappointment nonetheless. Beyond Light was different, following the Guardian's journey to mastering darkness. Witch Queen was focused completely on Savathun and what she was planning to do with the light, so it was different. We don't mention this one, but it was different. The Red War campaign and the final shape overlap in so many ways, it's not hard to see the similarities. There are, of course, some differences between the two, but the main core story beats are the same, which is dumb. I almost feel cheated, paying over $100 just to play a reskinned version of the vanilla campaign they removed from the game. There was so much that Bungie had built within the Destiny universe at this point that they could have shoved in here. Somewhere, anywhere, the whole story was centered around the Guardian, the Vanguard, and Crow, which would have been fine if Crow wasn't the only character to have some level of character development. Bungie literally brought Cade back just to bring back old players, only for them to then kill him off again. Ikora is straight up just a full-time NPC, never having any problems of her own to overcome, doesn't add anything to the story, and honestly should hold a sign that says bathroom break whenever she's on screen. I always thought of Zavala as the cornerstone as the Vanguard, the backbone who inspired others to shoot gooder, but all he's ever written to be is an emotional scaredy cat with an overdependence on the light. I don't even count him using darkness as character development, since when his precious nightlight faded away, Baby Blue followed the sweet words of the darkness out of desperation of not having any power at all. So many things could have been done differently, but who am I to say? I'm not a writer, I'm just a visual reader. Gameplay wise, this was the best campaign yet. It did the whole longer multi-party mission thing, but now with mechanics. This is what we've been looking for. Shooting space baddies can only be so entertaining when that's all we do. There's gotta be something to grab my attention, and this do be it. I give the gameplay 5 K6s out of 9. The other stuff: adventures, public events, exotic quests, mini dungeon, lost sector thingies, fragments, and aspect hunting. It's all here, baby. After completing the campaign, you still have a juicy hot load of content to trudge through. The adventures are like extra mini story missions focusing on characters like Savathun and Mithrax. They're relatively short and they're also not too difficult. There's a total of 6 of them, and they're needed to grab the locked aspects in the prismatic subclass. Playing through them for the first time is great and all, but having to run through these on every character is a chore. So you know, usual Destiny content. To unlock the rest of the prismatic fragments, you gotta do a mix of finding secret chests within the story missions themselves and discovering certain events in the Pale Heart, which is somehow both fun but also extremely tedious. Luckily, you only gotta go fragment hunting once in your account. The mini dungeon lost sector hybrid things I mentioned are called cysts, which sounds gross as hell. They're basically bigger lost sectors with unique themed mechanics. Half of these aren't bad, but the other half caused me great pain. To the Bungie employees who came up with the sword fighting bonanza or the exploding moth party, I hope you drank enough water today, bitch. There's a grand total of 6 of these monstrosities that need to be unlocked and completed as part of an exotic quest, which means you need to repeat the Lost Ghost quest 6 damn times. Honestly, as I said before, some of them aren't bad, but there are those that cause great pain to my soul. The Pale Heart doesn't have any public events or patrol missions. Instead, it has one constant event called Overflow, where you do various activities in the area to build points. Every 1,000 points, you reach a new tier. And then at tier 4, there's a boss fight where you fight one of 3 unique bosses to that area. I can't even roast this. I actually enjoy doing little events in the Pale Heart. Most of the activities are pretty fun to do, since there's small mechanics attached to them, and there's some variety with unique stuff in each area. Most of these activities can be breezed through, so getting to the boss fight doesn't feel super grindy. Finally, some good food. As far as the exotic quests go, I'll give it to you straight. Ergo Sum is the first exotic sword to run on special ammo, because only in Destiny do you need ammo to swing a sword. It's pretty easy to get, being a reward for completing the Pathfinder thing. The gimmick of this sword is how many different perks and frames it can roll with. You might have even heard it rolling with Wolfpack rounds. It's alright. The Kvostov quest was alright until it came down to collecting the 9 motes from the 9 overflow bosses. There was no way to track which bosses you fought, since in classic bungo fashion, the triumphs meant to help you track that very thing was also bugged. And it's completely random which boss spawns. So I had to sit my ass there for several hours praying that the one specific boss I needed spawned. This ruined the entire quest for me. Bungie always gotta find some way to make the fun stuff have a bad aftertaste. Every single time. The Microchasm quest is just a bad joke told by an amateur comedian. You gotta play through 3 campaign missions with a fire team, with the catch being some new mechanics added in to add a little flavor to the content you've already done and are being forced to play through again. 3 out of 10. I am now depressed. Clinically. The Still Hunt quest does go pretty hard though. The whole thing is pretty much just father-son bonding with you awkwardly in the background. The mission itself was fun for the most part, and the last part gave me a lot of stuff to shoot. 10 out of 10, I'd play it again. Exotic class items. Unlocking the mission was simple enough, nothing too crazy. The mission itself, initially, was cool. You need to have 2 players, which was interesting. I don't think I've played a mission designed specifically for 2 players, so this was new to me. It's a mission that's about 20 to 25 minutes long with some neat mechanics that require both players to communicate. Also, I can't read a clock. Naturally, it's gonna take a million runs to get a god roll, unless you're the reason Bungie employees smile while they're at work. It's like chewing gum. The more you chew, the less flavor there is, and eventually there's no flavor and chewing is pointless and also feels progressively more painful. Also, there's no way to farm this without either a homie with way too much free time on his hands, hope you hit it big on the human gambling that is LFG, or you just run a million laps around the landing. Just gonna end this section with excursion. This is sensory overload the mission. This is about the closest I've ever gotten to having an out-of-body experience. I sit there killing things and doing objectives, yet I still don't know what the hell is going on. I'm just going through the motions and things are happening around me, but I don't know what is happening. 5 out of 10. I killed the witness, yet I still don't know who did it. The raid! Now, this is what we've been waiting for. Let's talk about the raid. The thing that warrants the price tag on every DLC. The entire reason you even bought the DLC is to get your hands dirty in the raid. I didn't do it. Simple as that. The boys and I just haven't gotten to it yet. Maybe next week though. We'll try for next week. Overall, I'd say it's a pretty solid DLC where Bungie was finally forced to make something decent at the hands of both fear and desperation. The story might have been a grandiose retelling of an old campaign, but gameplay-wise, Bungie really seems to have found the formula for their campaigns. Who would have thought that letting the story play out without making players grind patrol missions and public events would make things go oh so better? Too bad they only figured this stuff out at the very end of Destiny. We also got some pretty cool exotics, despite a few of the missions to get them being less than stellar. The Still Hunt and Microchasm are now the DPS meta for the foreseeable future, and without either one, you're gonna get booped from every LFG raid team. So good luck with that. And yeah, I didn't talk about the seasonal content because that's its own thing. So at the end of it all, the final shape was fairly enjoyable. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.